Hello everyone and welcome back to more Final Fantasy VII. We're at part 25, which is going to be a special part today, because now that we got the airship, the game has really opened up for us a bunch, and we're actually going to be taking care of one of the major side quests in this game, Chocobo breeding. Oh boy, fun times. You might be wondering how I'm getting this all done in one part that's less than 30 minutes. A couple things. For one, this is the most heavily edited part of the commentary so far. Two, I'm going to be showing you an easy way to do it where you can actually get it done in less than an hour, even without editing and stuff. Because typically you wouldn't be able to complete this side quest until like disc 3, I think, is when you're actually supposed to be able to finish it. But with this trick, you can do it right here in disc 2. Right when you get the airship. So the first thing we're going to do is go to this Chocobo farm. If you remember, we were here way earlier. We were here in part 8, I believe. We're going to talk to this guy, and the first thing we need to do is buy all 6 Chocobo stables that this place has. We're going to rent them all for ourselves, and it's going to be a great time. But yeah, rent all 6 Chocobo stables. That's the first thing you gotta do. They're 10,000 gil each, so make sure you have enough gil. I think I have 70,000, so it's enough. Yep. So yeah, once you rent all 6, then you're going to go to the Chocobo barn itself, where the stables are, and we're going to buy a few things. By the way, to get this side quest done early, you have to follow. This is more of a guide part. Like, you have to follow this exactly if you want to do it the way I do it. You have to do it in this specific order, in this specific way to get it done. It's not really an exploit, it's more just manipulating the RNG. So what we want to do is, I'm selling stuff to make more money. We want to buy 70 Kraka greens, those greens there, and then we want to buy I'm buying 70 Kraken greens, and then we want to buy, what am I doing? I'm trying to wait to time it right. Then we want to buy a Sahara nut, and then we also want to, if you don't have any just Sol greens yet, buy a couple of those, or buy enough of those, because we're going to be catching some Chocobos here in a bit. Just be sure to buy all those things so you can, so you'll be good. You need to buy, specifically, the most important thing are the Sahara nuts and the Kraka greens, because you need those for later. And also buy some just Sol greens for catching Chocobos if you don't have some already at this point. So now what we need to do is we're going to take the airship up north. Also, I love flying around the airship, it's so much fun. But we're going to be taking the airship up north to the northernmost continent near Bone Village. If you remember where that is, that was the area we went right before the City of the Ancients, where Aerith got momented. Anyways, so what we are looking for is one specific type of enemy that we are actually going to steal something from. This is the enemy. We are going to steal a carob nut from it. And we actually need to do this twice. We need to fight this enemy twice and steal carob nuts from it both times. This enemy has a lot of HP, so it can actually take a while to kill it. So if you don't have the patience for it, you can just run away after you steal the carob nut. But we need to steal 2 carob nuts from these enemies here. 2 is all you need, so you don't need to get any more than that. But yeah, just be sure to do that. I'm speeding through this just to make sure that, just to save some time. But yeah, and then there's the second one. Steal the carob nut, then we kill it, and then we can get on with our lives. So, 2 carob nuts. That's the first thing you need. From this area, from those dinosaur-looking things, steal 2 of them. And then, here, I'm gonna just check here, just to make sure I have 2 of them. Just in case I didn't go absolutely insane. And there they are right there. Yep, 2 carob nuts. And then we are going to fly to an area we actually haven't been able to access until now. It's a small-ass island near the northeast of the map. You should probably see it on the map there. and it's gonna be the bigger of the two islands up there, and it's gonna have a forest in it, and we're gonna land here, run around in the forest, and then we're gonna encounter some goblins. This is Goblin Island, so we're looking for some goblins because the goblins have another type of nut that we need to steal, a Zeo nut. We need to steal one Zeo nut from the goblins, and I find out here in a bit that I actually already have a Zeo nut in my inventory, so I didn't really need to do this, but you know, it's good to show for the guide anyway, because you probably don't have a Zeo nut, but you just need to steal one from the goblins. And also here I learned the enemy skill Goblin Punch, which is very not useful at this point, but it's nice because it doesn't cost any MP, so, you know, if you don't want to waste MP, you can use this pretty weak move. Anyways, yeah, steal a Zeo nut. I actually, it takes a few tries. The steal rate in this game is a little too low for my liking, but, oh well. Come on, Tifa, you can do it. Come on, Tifa, you got it, you got it. There we go, beautiful. And now we kill this fucker. Beautiful. Okay. And now, we have all the items we need to do this thing that we're trying to do. So, the next thing we need to do is catch some Chocobos. And we need to catch two specific kinds of Chocobos. So, remember, you have to do this in a specific order to get this to work properly. So, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to fly to near the area where that snowy town was. We're going to fly to that area. And keep in mind, the airship can only land in grass. For some reason, so you can't land in the snow, so you're going to have to do a bit of walking. Also, be sure you have a Chocobo lure equipped, otherwise you will not be able to catch Chocobos. They will not spawn in battle, so have the Chocobo lure equipped. We're going to fly up to this area, go to those Chocobo tracks up there, and we are looking for a specific kind of Chocobo. We are looking for a wonderful Chocobo. And how do you know which one's a wonderful Chocobo? It's all about what kind of enemies it spawns with. So what we are looking for is a Chocobo that's going to spawn next to only those rabbit enemies. If it spawns next to any wolves at all, it's not the right kind of Chocobo. So yeah, we're just running around here, and I'm speeding through this. So yeah, first, you know, of course if you don't run into a Chocobo, then just, you know, get out of the battle. But then, so yeah, this Chocobo spawned next to wolves, so that's not what we're looking for. That's not the right kind of Chocobo. And then if it spawns next to rabbits and wolves, it's still not the right kind of Chocobo. It needs to only spawn next to a rabbit, like this one here. 1 or 2 rabbits is what it'll spawn next to. And this Chocobo runs away. I was a little like, what the fuck there? It didn't even give me a chance to use it. So then what I do is I recommend moving the Giselle greens up to the top of your inventory so you have quick access to them. But it doesn't take me too long to run into another one. 1 or 2 rabbit enemies, only the rabbit enemies, not the wolf enemies. That's the wonderful Chocobo that we're looking for. So you have to calm it down. If you remember from part 8 when we had to catch a Chocobo, you calm it down by feeding it Giselle greens or any kind of greens. I'm using Giselle just because they're the cheapest. And then you have to kill the other enemies. Do not attack the Chocobo itself, it will freak out and just run away. So I'm keeping it, just keep it distracted with the Giselle greens, kill the other enemies, you got the Chocobo. That's all it really takes. Like I said, only the rabbit enemies, it can only spawn next to the rabbit enemies. If it spawns next to any wolf enemy at all, it is not the right kind of Chocobo. Don't bother catching it. Just run from the battle, or kill all the other enemies. You don't want to catch that Chocobo. That's not the kind of Chocobo we're looking for. This little guide here will not work if you catch that kind of Chocobo. So only the rabbit enemies. Remember that. But there we go, and we caught the Chocobo. This is a wonderful Chocobo. Beautiful, perfect. Yeah, so now that we got that, what we are going to do is I'm going to walk back to the airship. I don't know why I'm taking so long to press the button. I'm going to walk back to the airship. Excuse me. And then we are going, once you get off the Chocobo, you have the option to turn it loose or take it back to the stables. Send it back to the stables. Don't turn it loose, otherwise you just kind of wasted your time. But yeah, so turn it loose, beautiful, and now we are going to fly to the very far southeast of the map. to the Medial area, which is a town we haven't been to yet. We are actually going to go to that town in the next part, where we continue on with the main story. Like I said, this content is completely optional. If you don't want to do chocobo breeding, you don't have to. Just keep that in mind. So if none of this seems fun to you, you just don't have to do it. It's an optional side quest. But anyways, we're going down to the Medial area, running on these tracks here, and we are looking for a chocobo to spawn next to only spiral enemies, which spiral enemies are these bug-like creatures that we actually run into first try. So 1 or 2 spiral enemies, but only the spiral enemies. If the chocobo spawns with any other enemy, it is not the right kind of chocobo. We are looking for a great chocobo, and great chocobos in this area only spawn next to these enemies. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Only these bug spiral enemy things. That's what we're looking for. Yep. So, like I said, it's important that you follow this guide exactly. Otherwise, this will not work, and we are, that's not good. I will say though, the side quest is optional, but the rewards you get for doing it are fucking amazing. So I do recommend doing it. But of course it is optional, so if this kind of thing just seems like it would drive you crazy, then don't do it. And of course send that chocobo back to the stables too. And surprisingly enough, if you've played this game before and know about chocobo breeding, that's it. That's all the chocobo catching we have to do. All the rest now is just RNG manipulation. So we are just going to head back to the chocobo stables, the chocobo farm, and continue on with this side quest. So yeah, this is where the RNG manipulation begins, which is a fun time. So what we need to do here, actually, is we are going to walk as close to the chocobo farm as possible, as close as you can get. This isn't like an exact pixel thing, but just get as close as you possibly can. Save the game, and yeah, like I said, it's not exact like pixel thing, just get as close as you can get, and then we're gonna reset the game. Yeah, I'll be cutting this out after this. I just want to show like I am actually resetting the game. So yeah, you save. This works on every version of the game, not just the PS1 original. So you can also, on like other versions, there's an option to like literally exit out of the game in the menu. You could just go to that. It works the same. Just reset the game. That's what you got to do. But yeah. So then we are going to go to the go back to the title screen. All that stuff, skip the intro, all that. And then what we need to do is we need to, after we've saved as close to the farm as we can get, we need to walk into the farm as fast as possible. I do this by literally just holding the direction the barn is in, before the game even loads in. I'm just holding the direction here, so I actually walk into the barn before like the visuals load. So you'll notice the overworld music will kick in for a second, and then the barn music will start. Because, yep, there we go. You didn't even see me walk in. But yeah, just, you don't have to be that fast, but just as fast as you can. Make it the first thing you do. Like within the first second of the game loading in, walk into the barn. But yeah, so then what we have to do here is pick the chocobos to put in. Be sure to put in the great chocobo first. If you've done everything right up to this point, the great chocobo should be female. Like I said, put in the great chocobo first. Otherwise, this will not work, and they will not be the right gender for this. What we need to do here. But yeah, so the great chocobo, you can name all these chocobos whatever you want. I'm just naming them what they are. So this is a great female. And then the next one we need to put in the excuse me, the wonderful chocobo, which you should select second. And this one should be male if you followed the guide exactly. So chocobo male. So we're gonna name this, of course, great male. Yeah, or wonderful male, sorry. Yeah. Or, abbreviated, of course, because you only have 6 characters. So then what we need to do is walk out of the barn. After we've done that, we put them in. So we're going to walk out of the barn, go back into the overworld, and then we are going to get as close to the barn as possible again, save the game, save the game, and then reset again, and do the exact same thing you did like last time. Just get as close to the barn as you can, save the game. I'm using 2 different save files as just a fail save in case for this, in case I mess up one step of the way and need to reload a previous step. I'm using 2 save files. But yeah, I'm cutting out the resetting now. Load back into the game, go into the barn as fast as you can, like that. But yeah, every time you save, like, get as close to the barn as you can, reset, then get into the barn as fast as possible. This is, like I said, is just for RNG manipulation. So then what we need to do now is use the Kraka greens that we got, which is a typo in the PS1 version. They're called Karaka greens for some reason here. Feed 5 of them to any Chocobo. It doesn't matter which Chocobo. Or sorry, you feed 1 Kraka green. 5 Kraka greens comes later. You feed 1 Kraka green to any of the Chocobos, to either one, doesn't matter. Just feed 1 of them. And then what we need to do is we're going to mate them. It's a female and a male, so we can mate them. We're going to mate them. Be sure you pick the great female one first, and then the wonderful male. You have to pick them for mating in that order, otherwise this won't work. So feed 1 Kraka green to either one of the Chocobos, then mate them, pick the female first and then the male. And then we're going to use one of our carob nuts that we stole for the mating. And if you did everything right, you should end up with this Chocobo that we're about to see here. Oh my god, it's blue. You should end up with a female blue Chocobo if you get everything right, which is exactly what we want. So yeah, I'm naming it exactly what it is. Blue female. Beautiful. And then what we are going to do now is we are going to leave the barn and we are going to fight exactly 6 random battles. It doesn't, of course, it actually doesn't matter like how many you fight, as long as it's 6 or more. Of course, I'm doing this in the fastest way possible, and I'm doing exactly 6, but 6 or more. We just need to make it so that Chocobo that was just born is ready to breed. And it just takes about 6 battles for it to happen, so I'm just speeding through this. Just 6 random battles. All the enemies here are piss easy at this point, and then get as close to the barn as you can after you do that. Save and reset. And then get into the barn as fast as possible, just like usual. Beautiful. And then talk to him. And then what we are going to do is we are going to feed 5 Kraka greens to any Chocobo once again. Doesn't matter which Chocobo it is, feed it. Oh, 50, I'm sorry. I'm getting it mixed up. 50 Kraka greens to any Chocobo. Once again, doesn't matter which Chocobo at all. It doesn't even have to be a Chocobo that you're going to breed for this next time. Just feed 50 Kraka greens to any Chocobo. Doesn't matter. Beautiful. And then what we are going to do is we are going to mate. We're going to do some crazy ass incest bullshit. And we're going to mate the... Oh, I'm sorry. No, we're not. We're actually mating the great female and the wonderful male again. I'm getting ahead of myself. The crazy ass incest bullshit will come later. After you feed the 50 Kraka greens to any Chocobo, mate the great female and wonderful male once again. Just like that. Excuse me. And then you should come out with a green one. What the fuck? You should come out with a green male. Yep, a green male Chocobo. And all these Chocobos, if you take them out to ride, they all have different attributes, as you'll see here in a bit. The blue ones can cross bodies of water. I believe the green ones, I forget what the green ones can do. I know we're also get a black one here in a bit, and the black ones can climb up mountains and stuff. all of them have different attributes, which we need to explore the overworld. But after you get that green mail, we need to now fight 8 random battles. At least 8. It can be more than 8, but of course I just do the bare minimum just to get a move on. As long as it's 8 or more, you're good. 8 random battles just to get the green mail, ready for breeding, so we can move on. And then after that, you save the game and reset. And then load it back up, walk into the barn as fast as possible. Go back in. You're starting to notice a pattern here. Talk to him, and then we are going to feed, I believe this time it is 5 or 6 cracker greens to any chocobo once again. It does not matter what chocobo you feed it to, any chocobo. 5 cracker greens. That's the step I was getting mixed up. So 5 cracker greens to any chocobo. Doesn't matter which one. Even if you aren't using it for breeding. You just have to feed it. So now we are going to mate the blue female. Beautiful. Pick the blue female first and then the green male. So this is where the crazy ass incest bullshit begins. And yeah, so mate those two together. The blue female and the green male. Pick the blue female first, and then use a Sahara nut that we bought. Use one of the Sahara nuts, and then if you do everything right, you should come out with a black female, which, maybe I shouldn't say that. No, but yeah, and then I'm just naming it, just to keep it organized, beautiful. And then what we are going to do now is we are going to go back out of the barn, and we are going to fight 3 random battles. Only 3 this time. However, there's a chance that the black female will not be ready to breed after 3, and if that's the case, go back out and fight an additional 4 random battles, and then it should be ready by then. So yeah, then you save and reset the game again, reload the save file, go back into the barn as fast as possible, and then we're going to talk to him. We're going to feed 6 cracker greens to any chocobo once again. 6 this time to, once again, any chocobo, doesn't matter which one. There we go. And then what we are going to do now is we are going to mate the wonderful male with the black female, and be sure to pick the black female first. Always pick the female first, is what I've noticed. Always pick the female one first, and then the male. Mate the black female with the wonderful male, and then we are going to use that Zeo nut to mate them that we stole from the goblin. We only need 1 Zeo nut. I have 2, but you only need 1. Use the Zeo nut that we stole from the goblin, and if you've done everything right, everything exactly as I've said you should do, then you should come out with, ta-da, a gold chocobo. The gold chocobo is, he's a special one. It's a female. It should come out with a female gold chocobo, which I am naming Doug, after one of my friends. If you're watching this, Doug, thank you for watching this. So then, now that we've got the gold chocobo, I actually have released all the others, because all we need now is Doug, and we're gonna take her out for a ride. So get this. Remember how I said different chocobos have different attributes, like some can cross bodies of water, some can climb up mountains, some can cross rivers? The gold chocobo can go anywhere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care about terrain. Like, look at this shit. It doesn't care about terrain. It doesn't care about bodies of water. It'll just go anywhere. And because of this, we're going to explore the overworld for a bit, now that we have the gold chocobo, and we're actually going to be able to access areas that we would not be able to access before. This is the first area. We can actually get to this with the airship too, but this is a little Easter egg thing. This guy will tell you how many battles you've been in. So we've been in 313 battles throughout the course of this game. Good to know. But then there are some areas that you can only access via chocobo. Like I said, the airship can only land in grassy areas, so this one you can only access via chocobo. This cave, this is going to get us our first of 4 secret materia that we can get. This is the HP MP materia, which swaps your HP and MP, so if you want to just spam magic the whole time, that's the materia for you. I don't really use it because, you'll die in like 1 hit, But anyways, the second materia is in the Wutai area right here, and this one is the mime materia, which will basically copy whatever the last action one of your party members performed was. So you can just spam really powerful magic if you have a mime materia and have like one person cast the magic, the other person casting mime. Beautiful. It's really good. The third materia is in the medial area right here. It's in this cave, and this is the quadra magic materia, which when linked with a magic materia, it will cast the spell 4 times in a row for no extra MP cost. So that's really good. And then the final materia is at the very top right of the map in this island here that you can only access with the gold chocobo. And this is the ultimate summon in the game, Knights of the Round, which is a 13-hit summon animation. It hits 13 times for massive damage. This is essentially the win button for the main story. Don't spam it too much, otherwise it's kind of not even really a game anymore. But it's really good for fighting the optional super bosses and stuff like that. And like I said, it's essentially the win button. But anyways, there you go. That's the Chocobo breeding side quest. And if you follow that guide, and assuming you get decent RNG when it comes to catching Chocobos and stuff, it should take you less than an hour. And that's a side quest that typically takes 3 or 4 hours. So that's really nice. But anyways, in the next part, we will actually continue on with the main story now that we've gotten all the broken materia we need. But yeah, so see you guys next time for more Final Fantasy VII.